And welcome to the show. So, do you like weird shit? I like weird shit. You want to talk about some weird shit? I want to talk about some weird shit. We have Mike and Melanie from Twisted Minds Oddities store here in Bismarck, North Dakota, and we're going to get weird. Mike, Melanie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
So, you guys started, I think, the first Oddities store in Bismarck, correct?
We did.
What inspired this?
We both kind of were into eclectic, weird stuff, and yeah, we decided to open up a store. I've been begging her for the last 5-10 years to open up our store, and she finally agreed to do this. We went to a couple oddity stores throughout the United States, and she finally agreed. So I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Okay. And so what inspired you to get into it, though? Did you like movies or just weird random shit?
Weird random shit.
Okay.
Like I said, I've always liked eclectic, weird shit. And we also watched the Oddities show on TV on the, what was it, Travel Channel or
Oh, I didn't know
Budget
about.
Channel. Yeah, we watched that. It was in a place in New York. I always watched that and just got into all the weird stuff all that weird stuff, and loved, taxidermy ravens and just weird derpy type taxidermy. And I've always looked for those one of a kind items. So that's we both agreed to do it. And she has fun searching for the weird stuff. I have fun searching for the weird stuff. We have fun creating the weird stuff.
When you were kids, were you guys like movies? Or...
I watched all the horror movies all the 80s.
Yeah, 80s.
Krash,
yeah. Well,
Krash
yeah.
ones,
We're around the same age, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the big thing. How about you, Melanie?
Yes, I watched all horror movies. Friday the 13th.
The Lost Boys.
Yeah, The Lost Boys, all that. So
Of course, Goonies.
yeah, Goonies was my
Goonies a horror movie?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, I know they had Sloth, but yeah.
Yeah.
I was
that weird stuff. They were hunting for the
suppose,
treasure.
Yeah. Okay, fair. What was your favorite? Are you Jason?
I
Texas,
really don't
Freddy.
have a favorite.
Mine was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay, and that was a real one too. That was based off of what's that?
It's based off of Ed Gein.
Ed Gein. Okay, what did he do? Tell the people who might not know.
Ed Gein was out of Wisconsin, actually, and he killed his mother and killed a couple other people, but then he was digging up graves. So Ed Gein inspired 3 different movies: Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Psycho, and Silence of the Lambs, actually.
Okay, so
Yeah, he'd dig up there.
Silence of the Lambs. That was the psychological thriller.
Yep, that was the one with Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. How did he inspire that?
Well, what was it, Wild Bill in there?
with taking the.
Puts the lotion on its skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
he would dig
The
up the
skin.
graves and cut the skin off the people and
And he
make like masks
Masks
or
and lamps. and-
lamps and stuff
Okay.
like that. Yep.
So it wasn't like the Texas Chainsaw movie because he didn't. I don't remember the Texas Chainsaw movie very well. You might have to refresh me.
Well,
but
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on Ed Gein
Mhm.
because basically Leatherface
yeah,
was a face made out of human skin.
Yeah.
And then that's what they did in there as well. They'd kill the people, skin them,
Mhm.
and use their skin for different lamps and different weird stuff in there as well. So they're all 3 based on Ed Gein's personality.
Somewhat of it. Yeah.
okay.
But there was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre leads you to believe that it was based on something that happened in Texas, but
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
no, it was all just loosely based on Ed Gein. all
Okay.
3 of them.
Okay, interesting. And that was only a couple states away. So, that one,
All the serial killers. A lot of serial killers come from
Midwest.
Wisconsin.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Jeffrey Dahmer, the
we've-
weird one. Another
we've
weird
lived here. There's a bunch of weirdos in the
Yeah.
Midwest. I mean,
one.
they've
That cold weather.
well, yeah, we've talked about it before. I mean, it's also what I think makes North Dakota so creative
Yeah.
because you have about 6 months of nothing to do. So,
Mhm.
which we are coming up here surprisingly, like it's been nice, but
Yeah.
we've been we're gonna get cold soon, and hence my Christmas trees are coming. So, which is funny because I enjoy Halloween more than Christmas. So, at my lot, I have a lot of Nightmare Before Christmas because then I can do both.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right on.
So, anyhow, what did you bring with you here?
Brought you some gifts.
Nice.
We sell Valhalla tea in the store, so I brought
It is
you
great.
a nice skull canister of Zeus. Another one that is a good one is the Monkey King. It's a chocolate and banana flavor.
Nice. Yeah, I think my wife Caitlin, did you have that? The chocolate banana one for your first tea? Oh, the Athena. Okay.
That's also a good one.
Mhm.
And then you had mentioned that you liked a couple of the Crow Nordic
I do.
tapestries, so we brought you a couple of those.
Well, I found out my grandparents, well, I knew my grandparents from my dad's side were from Iceland.
Oh, right on.
So, yeah, I have a lot of Nordic history in me and a little more French than I'm comfortable with. But I mean, yeah, so I got really big into the Viking stuff when actually I was going to see, I know you had like a metal Thor. Yeah. I was thinking I wanted something to put on the desk as well because we're going to rearrange this whole place real soon.
All right
So,
on. Yeah, I got a Thor bust statue of his head and top, and then we also have Thor's hammer.
nice. Yeah. Ooh, Thor's hammer would be really cool on the wall or on. I know I'm going to put a shelf down there right back here. So I have all my nerddoms. I got a Tokyo Ghoul action figure
right
last
on.
night. Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you? That's one of my favorites. I didn't quite get the ghoul thing, and I just introduced Caitlin to it
Right on.
yesterday because she didn't know what I was talking about. I was like, really? I haven't had you watch this. And I'm only one season in, so there's 5.
All right on.
But anyhow, so what do we have here?
A couple other things. My daughter, she creates all these nice insects and pins them and creates all these displays for that. So this one is a lunam, or actually a comet moth that she did. Beautiful piece.
That is really cool.
And then we're up at MunsterCon, Midwest MunsterCon up in Minot. So we created all this type of style too.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's
saw with basically a bone cutter in it. Bone cutter saw in there.
You know, I've never seen the movie Saw.
Really?
Yeah,
That's another good one.
I've never been into the horror movies as much.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're neat because I like sci-fi, like
Yeah.
aliens. Love alien stuff.
Mhm.
Like, I was actually
Mhm.
designing an alien tattoo, but that's more because I feel like an alien, as I'm sure you guys do
Yeah.
here. Living in the Midwest can
Mhm.
really, if you like anything outside of Republican stuff and hunting and fishing, you are a weirdo here.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, I don't do much hunting and fishing myself. So.
no, I've done it and I don't mind it, but it's not what I would call a relaxing weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, but to each their own, I suppose.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we should get to our first commercial break. So, and then we'll be back
Sounds
and
good.
let's talk about some of the really weird shit you've had in the store.
Whoa, storm's coming. I hate to break it to you, Minnie, but the storm's already here. I know, I just like saying it though, because it's, so ominous. Storm's coming. Like a pirate. And this is my ship. You're on the poop deck, Maxie. Sorry about your luck. Okay.
And we are back. We have Mike and Mel with us from Twisted Minds here in Bismarck, North Dakota. And it's about that time to get into some weird haunted stories. You guys ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Nice. So, you guys have had haunted items in your store.
Yes.
Tell me more about them.
We had a haunted Ouija board in the store. We've had what else have we had?
Couple dolls.
Yep, couple dolls. They close their eyes in the middle of the store when they're sitting there. Then I have to go and open them back up. Our Ouija board was haunted. We were gone one weekend and we came back, correct? And we had a dog skull hanging up on one of our windows or one of our walls, and it flew across the floor into another section of the store.
Did it break?
Broke the
Yes,
skull.
broke
Yeah.
the skull.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Breaking your guys' shit.
Yep. And then a frame full of butterfly wings, moth wings, and that was flipped upside down and all the wings were gone. Our daughter and her boyfriend were working at the store. They heard something rattling on the door in the back, like pounding on the door in the back, so no one was supposed to be back there. So her boyfriend went back and checked on it, and when he got back there, he was looking around. All of a sudden, a bunch of papers got thrown off a table, and he said, "Hell with that, I'm out of here." And he went back out and
Got a little spooked?
Yeah.
shut the door and stayed out there the rest of the time. So then we encased it. How we got it back, we actually sold it to a gal. We purchased it. It was in 1967, Ouija board. Purchased it. We sold it to a gal right in the first month of us being open. 2 months later, into having it, she emailed us and said that she can no longer have it. She needs to get it out of her house, and she wanted us to take it back. So we brought it back.
How did you guys know it was haunted? What?
Just by the stuff that was happening.
Oh,
Plus, says she had another
Was it-
Ouija board in her house,
okay.
and they weren't connecting.
And
The Ouija board she bought from us wasn't giving the other Ouija board at her house the correct vibes.
Energy.
So
Okay.
yeah, so she used it, and it was telling her that it needed to come back home,
Okay.
and she just assumed home was with us.
Okay.
So yes,
Was this or where did you guys get the Ouija board originally from?
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And you got it haunted already? Or we didn't know? You didn't know?
we didn't know anything. Yep.
So they just
Yeah.
just at one of the horror cons or
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
So and then you had it returned and then weird stuff and then you just sold that one, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Nice. And has she had anything weird happen yet?
No, we haven't talked to her since.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that wasn't that long ago, I
No.
suppose.
No,
No.
So
about a
guess
month ago.
maybe do a check-in with her, make sure
Yeah.
she's okay.
Yeah.
So and then the dolls, where did you guys get those?
Everywhere.
For the haunted ones.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I can't pinpoint where we got them because we got so many different dolls in there, so we don't know where we got them from.
So how did you guys find out they were haunted? Just
Well, the main reason why the one we figure is haunted, and on that part of it is because it'll just shut its eyes,
okay.
and it's not. We've tried making it shut by itself. They won't shut by itself. It'll just be sitting there, and next thing you know, I'll look over and its eyes are closed. And it takes a little bit of force to
Open them back up.
open them back up, so it's not like it's doing it on its own. And they're as far as the dolls go, they're not a bad haunting. But there is energy with them. So
Yeah.
with that fact, there's
And you guys have
Something attached to it.
priestesses and all that in
we have
there.
a pagan priestess that's in there, and
Yeah.
she does tarot readings for us. And
Okay. And other people have came in like of the I don't know what you would call it, but priestesses or people who can deal with the supernatural.
yeah.
And they check out the items too, I'm
Yeah.
sure, and
then
let you know.
we also had paranormal investigators there
Yes.
a couple weeks
So
ago.
Sodi.
Yep.
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 Had Sodi there and her crew, and they found some energy there. And
Yeah.
nothing bad, nothing negative, but
No.
there's always going to be energy attached to some of these things.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this stuff is old.
Yeah.
You know.
Which I mean, that would be cool to get other haunted items.
For
and
sure.
You hear
We'd love
that?
to
If
have that.
anyone has anything haunted, get hold of Mike and Mel.
Yeah.
They would probably be interested in it. I would say they'd want some proof, but
Yeah.
that's haunted, and then
We'd
you
be
know,
more than welcome to take it.
We're
Yeah.
happy to take it.
yeah, and that could be anywhere. I mean, if they're willing to ship it, or
Yeah.
then you guys would do consignment as well if
Correct.
that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
have you guys been met with skepticism or anything?
Not really.
No?
Everyone that comes into our store is pretty welcome and open
Mm-hmm.
to it. We did sell one piece to a lady out in Dickinson, and she wasn't too happy with the whole situation. She felt that it was full of voodoo stuff.
Mhm.
I don't mess with the voodoo stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this one wasn't voodoo. But she got sick after she purchased the item, and she ended up breaking it and burning it down. So it wasn't done intentionally.
Fair.
She was pretty. She didn't sleep for 2 days. She was very sick.
Well, how do you guys think that stuff gets haunted? Like a Ouija board or a doll? I don't know much about that subject. Like I said, I'm excited for this alien talk we're going to have here later, but the hauntings.
Ouija boards, you're opening up the portals, if you want to call it. Every time you mess with a Ouija board, you're opening up a portal, and whether that's a good entity that comes through or a bad entity or however it may be, it's
Could be
opening up a
both.
portal. And if you don't close it the proper way, it will stay open.
Yeah.
And then in turn, with that one being from 1967, you don't know how many times it's been played with. You don't know what people have done. The prior people done. It's it's over 40 years old. It's almost basically 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, doing the math, it's over 50.
Well,
But yeah, it's
you never know it. Yeah, anywhere what could happen, especially when you start getting to older parts and towns. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, even I know we bought this house. My old man built this house, and then I bought it from him about 3 years ago. And right down the street, when I was in high school, there was a kid who murdered his parents,
Yep.
and that was maybe a block or two down. And we drive by it sometimes. I'd be curious to know if there's anything going on there.
Yeah.
Like thoughts on hauntings and all that stuff is, I believe in multi-dimensions, which that's a proven fact. I believe now that there are hundreds and hundreds of dimensions, and I feel that they're side by side. And if something weird or traumatic or something kind of happens in a lot of them, you get little tears and then you see into other dimensions. Now, that said, that's my belief on what could happen for ghosts. But
And I don't disagree with you that there isn't multiple dimensions, but the fact of the haunting part, my personal opinion on it is when a spirit is here or entities left here, a spirit more so, it's more so because they have unfinished business.
which that's a very common belief
Yeah.
that there's unfinished business. And like I said, we'll never
Yeah.
really know. But
Well, yeah, all
Or
of
they
us-
need to be told that
That's
it's
okay to
okay, you
go.
know, you can go now. Everything will be all right.
and that's the, oh gosh, what logic would that be, I suppose, or theory? Like, would that be more pagan priestess, or I shouldn't say priestess, but pagan theory, where
yeah,
Christian theory?
not necessarily Christian theory, because Christian theory with Catholicism, if you are still here and you do something bad, you're sitting in purgatory.
Okay,
So
yeah,
you're
fair.
not going to be, you're not going to be here. That's more so. I can't even. I can't even remember the thing, but yeah, there is religions, but it's not like Christianity religions.
Okay. Right. Ghost theories have a long and complex history rooted in the ancient beliefs and evolved over time across various cultures. Here's an overview and development of ghost theories. The concept of ghosts can be tracked down to ancient civilizations where beliefs in afterlife and spirits were common. Many ancient cultures, such as the Egyptians and Greeks, held beliefs about the soul and its existence after death. These early ideas laid the foundation for later ghost theories. Recorded accounts. Some of the earliest surviving accounts of encounters with dead in Western tradition come from England around the 12th century. These stories often featured revenants, which were corpses that supposedly rose from the grave and wandered about, while not exactly ghosts as we think of them today. These tales contributed to the developments of ghost theories. So, that being said, I was just listening to a guy talk about Egypt and all their beliefs and the tombs and all that. He was on Joe Rogan the other day. I don't recall his name, but I'll flash it on the screen. But he was talking about all the stuff, and that was their culture really was into the afterlife. Like our culture right now is more about science and using science to expand technology and figure everything out. Their culture was different, that they believed in entombing, all that kind of stuff. So, which I found super interesting that he brought that up, because, and then again, now we're talking about this, which falls in line, because what I believe in is more scientific. Like I said, once they said there was extra dimensions and stuff, I was like, well, that makes sense to me. I mean, there was that famous story of that guy on the internet talking about this, and then they said he went missing. I don't know how real that one is, but
the most notable religions that there were Tibetans, Buddhism, and spiritualism.
okay,
That
which
believed in the spirits.
yeah, and that was their thing back then, was super spiritual, and I mean, which nothing wrong with that.
No.
Yeah, I find it interesting. It's fun to talk about.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. I've had a lot of weird things happen in lines of that, so I kind of believe.
you have some weird stories?
Oh, I got a few.
All right. When we get back, we'll hear one of those weird
Okay.
stories. And we are back. So, during the break, we were talking about ancient Egypt. Caitlin, what did you say? All right. So, around the 80s, there was unboxing of mummies. My wife, Caitlin, was just telling us about this. 20s through the 80s. And then you guys got into how there was basically tomb raiding, like the game with Lara Croft.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, right after the pyramids were discovered, a lot of Europeans would go down there and break into the tombs and steal parts from the mummies and whatnot to bring them back up to sell them as ailments. That they would sell it for headaches or whatever. The case
Okay.
may be. And so yeah, they stopped. There was a lot of underground stuff happening because they didn't want to keep on doing it because it just kept on disappearing and disappearing. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, tell us one of your ghost stories. Or not ghost stories necessarily, weird stories. I prefer aliens, but if you don't
Yeah.
have any aliens and you just have
No,
ghosts,
yeah.
that's
Don't have
okay.
no
We
aliens.
keep-
I wish.
My wife keeps on wishing one of the aliens she
Yeah.
would be able to see some aliens. But for ghost stories, for me, I got a few of them, but a lot of them tie into my Ouija board practices that I used to do and a lot of the stuff that I used to do. But we were doing the Ouija board, me and some friends, and we were down the stairs in my house, and when we used to have this one candle that we'd always use. We put it up in the closet during this time that we weren't using it, and we started playing the Ouija board. Next thing you know, we asked the Ouija board where the candle was. We asked it why if he could move it. Next thing you know, the candle went flying out of the closet, and it had to have been a spirit in there, one way or the other. But
And like you said, the Ouija boards are portals. So
Portals.
whatever comes through, I know I've heard some of like demons, usually like bigger name demons
Yeah.
come through.
yeah,
And,
my wife and I and a buddy of mine made a homemade one out of a coffee table, and it started getting deep with some of that stuff. She maybe can tell some of the stories, but yeah, we ended up burning that table just because it was
should
being
have
a
kept it.
homemade one.
Could've sold
Homemade one. Oh, I could have sold it. Yeah,
Yeah, see? Someone would have wanted it.
that was also 20 plus years ago. So.
Fair, I guess. Yeah, I suppose we would have been neighbors then, probably, huh?
No, that was before you.
Was
and
that
I.
even before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what else? Any other ones? Do you have, Melanie? You have any?
I can't think of any.
Okay.
What about the house you used to live in Mandan? Wasn't there something?
Oh yeah, there was. I lived in a side-by-side twin home with my mom when I was younger, and I stayed downstairs. My room was downstairs, and my shower would turn on in the middle of the night, and the sink would turn on. So I'd just get out, turn it off, wondering what was going on. Well, and then there was scratching like down the walls in my room and stuff. So I did a little research and found out that a young boy shot himself of suicide
Okay.
in my bedroom. And so he was just kind of hanging out downstairs with me.
Fair. I mean, yeah. If you don't have anything better to do after you die, I mean,
No.
but yeah, that seems to be. I mean, if you're unhappy being alive, you kill yourself, and then you have to stay in that house forever. Like, yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't sound great.
So nothing really phases Mike and I anymore. I mean, you just kind of deal with it, talk to him, and try to figure it out.
So I only have one, and like I said, it's probably nothing, but so you guys remember when I lived next door to you?
Yep.
So I had that Rottweiler, and he was awesome, but he came in and he was a dickhead when I got him, and nobody wanted him. So basically, it was I take him or he got put down. So I worked a lot with him to make him a good dog.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that I worked with him, we'd go running every day. So when I would take him running, we would go all the way around the trailer court. And then I would run through, where, it's that that burrito place.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right across from Taco Del Mar, right
yeah.
on the other side. I would run through there in the Precision.
It used to be Dairy Queen.
Yes. Yeah. It used to be Dairy Queen, but it was really dark and there was that little like slough. So I was sick. I had to have been because when I wouldn't go running, I would take him biking with me, and I would just because I was trying to get him good. And so we would go biking and we went around. And as I went through that alley, he started snarling, and he jumps in front of my bike. And he was usually really good on the bike, so that was weird. And then I look over to my left, and something big. I don't know what the fuck it was. And it could have been a deer, but it was charging right at me. And then when he jumped in front, it veered. And I think maybe it was a mountain lion, but some of me is like, well, werewolf? Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
Never
not,
know.
but
You never know.
that was it. I really think it was probably a deer, but I mean, I don't think a deer would charge me the way that did. So, and
Typically not.
yeah, and like I said, it was so big though. So, and I still, like I said, I try to remember it, and I have no idea what the fuck it was. So that's my only story. Oh yeah. So I guess my haunting story, or only real haunting story, would be I lived in a house up on 15th, and there was only one family who lived there before me. They had like 6 kids, and I don't know how they lived in such a small house with so many kids. But he had prize-winning rose bushes and tomato plants, and he was big into gardening. And if you know me, I hate going outside. I'm an indoor Josh. So I let that go to shit. So if any reason I was being haunted, that was probably it. But I had the same dream for many, many years. Well, not many years, but probably a year when I first moved in. And it was an old lady would come through. I would see her come through, like float to me and just look down at me all pissed off, like, and then I would freeze. And right away, I mean, this happened, like I said, a lot. And then one of the last times, me being me, I got pissed off and I was like, get the fuck out of here. And pretty much chased her out. And then she's like, eyes got really big and just, woof, and never happened again. But then the only other one, which my dog who died there, his name was Jiro. He was a German Shepherd, and he was the only animal that I had who died in the house. And I woke up one morning, he was dead on the floor. So, but I had a dream where I was taking my other dog out at the time, and it was the same, felt real. Like I was just going out to let him outside. And I was like, come on, Spike, let's go. And time to go outside. And then all of a sudden, Jiro runs up beside me. I was like, hey, buddy, like, let's go outside. And then I was like, oh, you're dead. And then I woke up. So, but it felt super, super real. So
I've had, with reoccurring dreams, I've had a reoccurring dream up until probably the last 20 years ago it stopped. But every place I would move, I had a reoccurring dream. You know, so I'm 49 now, so I was about 29 when it stopped. But it started when I was 5 years old. My uncle was in the penitentiary out here in Bismarck, and he was in the rodeo, and he had a friend that came up to see us that was also in the rodeo, but he was a clown, and my parents made me sit on the clown's lap, and I did not want to do it because they were always telling me how scary it is for people that go to the penitentiary and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was like 5 years old. And so they forced me to sit on his lap, and they even got a picture of me kind of like crying, like scared. And yeah, about 3 months later, I was sleeping, had a dream. My parents used to always fight, and that clown appeared out of the middle of nowhere. And I was trying to holler for my parents, and they were fighting, didn't hear me.
yeah.
And next thing you know, he grabbed me and disappeared. Moved to another place, same dream. Moved to another place, same dream. So yeah, I've been scared of clowns because of that dream.
Did he pass away? Do you know? Or was it? Yeah.
No idea.
No. Okay.
Know nothing about him other than my parents made me sit on his lap.
Fair. I mean, that could be scary. Yeah.
And from that point on, even with her, if we're at the parade or at the circus, I'd push her in front of me for the clowns, and now all of a sudden I got clowns in my store, and
That's true. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about clowns, but in dreams, the old lady ones in dreams is supposed to be something. Someone told me years ago. It's like maybe some of our fans can tell us, you know, if there's something ominous about it, like the old lady who watches you, then you get the paralysis, and I don't know. It's supposed to be a bad omen, maybe. Someone told me one time, but I had never really looked too much into it.
yeah, there's an actual known phobia for clowns.
Is there?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Clown phobia is real. Is there any like supernatural stuff with clowns though?
No.
Just killer clowns from outer space.
Yeah.
So, fair.
Yeah.
Well, with that, let's go to another commercial break.
Hey there. Welcome to the Outpost. My name is Max, and this right here is Minnie.
Hey there, how you doing?
Here at the Outpost, you can get pizza and a pop for $3.
And you can get coffee and a donut for just $2.
See, nothing really ever happens in this town, but if you see anything strange, you just let us know, alright?
Are back. So, I was thinking we can go over some Halloween trends. I was gonna do TikTok costume ideas, but Sadly, I haven't been up on that
Nor have we.
stage. I've been on TikTok a lot more lately, but yeah, I stay away from the trends. Like, believe it or not, I'm not known for keeping up with the trendy dance moves, but you know, maybe someday. So, let's see here. The costume trends of this year are Bob from the new Beetlejuice movie. Did you guys watch the original Beetlejuice?
We did.
Yes.
Did you? Fans?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
And we watched the second one too.
Yeah, and I heard it wasn't very good, but
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the
No,
first,
yeah.
that's for sure.
It's not as good as the
they're-
first.
as the only thing I really know is they're trying to push that Wednesday girl, or the girl who played Wednesday. She's in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
Yeah, she plays in the Addams Family.
Yeah,
Pushing
Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're pushing her everywhere. It's like, I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea as an actress, honestly, to be pigeonholed
Typecast.
into our typecast, into being one type, and then putting the same character. And I guess Ryan Reynolds does it, but he's just Ryan Reynolds in every
Yeah.
movie, or Deadpool, whatever he wants to be now.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
which is on the list as well as Deadpool and Wolverine. Art the Clown from Terrifier 3. Have you guys heard of that one?
We have.
Is it? What's that one about?
We watched the first two. They're similar to the probably a little worse than some of the 80s.
Oh, really?
Horror movies.
Oh, so is it supposed to be cheesy, or
It's a slasher movie. Yeah, it's blood, guts,
Okay.
everything, everywhere.
it's not supposed to be cheesy though?
No.
Oh, but it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
And surprisingly, it was a very low budget movie, but it's done well for itself. Done very well for itself.
well, did you guys ever remember Evil Dead?
Yeah.
So Evil Dead was, let's see, Evil Dead was just a really shitty movie, the first one, right? And then the second one, they went the same way, and then halfway through, they're like, okay, this isn't working, and they just made it into a comedy, which then brought in Army of Darkness, which I liked Army of Darkness. I thought that was great. And I watched the Evil Deads too, but they were bad. So is it similar to the,
Yeah.
okay.
Similar to that. If you want to watch that gore, that gore thrasher type movie, it's a movie for you because you'll see a lot of blood.
Okay.
A lot of blood splatter.
That's all it really takes is like
Yeah.
a cool bad guy, pretty much.
Yeah.
Supernatural powers, maybe.
No supernatural.
No? I mean,
Not really.
well, they did that with
just
Michael
appears out
Myers,
there,
and because he originally didn't have supernatural powers, right?
Yeah.
And then now he's. I watched a pitch meeting, and basically what it is movies, most of the time bad, sometimes really good ones too, and it's the supposed to be the exec, and then the guy who's pitching him a movie, and the new Halloween one sounds awful, like an old Michael Myers, and lost his powers, and gets his ass kicked by a guy who got beat up by nerds, and then somehow like comes back and has a big face off with whoever the main lady is an old lady, and then gets his ass kicked again, I think. And it sounds awful. Watch Pitch Meeting. They're fucking great. One of my favorite channels, which, if we can get in cahoots with them, that's what we want, because that guy has millions of views, and one of my favorite channels to watch. So anyhow, we are here with gothic glamour looks, Taylor Swift.
I never can't picture her being gothic.
Well, I just kind of combined them, but yeah, I mean, people want to dress up as Taylor Swift and be gothic glamour looks. I have seen those LED light outfits or the masks,
Yeah.
which augmented reality masks, which I'm not sure what those are, but I'm thinking those are the lights where they can make them into whatever they want.
Yeah.
Kind of like, what's that movie that everyone was into, where Squid Games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what they wore in those, right? So, let's see. And now to decoration trends. Elegant Halloween decor, huh? Switching from traditional orange and black to more sophisticated color palettes, using white, teal, and pale yellow pumpkins. Maybe it's just the area we live in, but I don't think we're going to see that too much here.
No.
Well, my friend Chantel, she puts, for years and years, she would take baby dolls, like beat up baby dolls, and she'd hang them from a tree. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it made the newspaper, and they were trying to petition to make her take it down because it was scaring kids. And I mean, that's the type of community we live in, that would be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is ridiculous and always made me laugh. So
Let people have fun. It's Halloween.
exactly, yeah. I've never understood why you would want to try to control so much, but like Halloween was always my favorite holiday. You get to go dress up, get candy, have fun. It's usually, in my opinion, was the most fun holiday to go do stuff, or even I would hand out candy. Like just seeing the kids' costumes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the more creative, the better. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and you'd see, the generic ones all over the place, but then you'd see kids who would, just do the ghost thing, but they would draw stuff on there or something.
Yeah.
And that was always so much fun. But I like creativity, so. Let's see, witchcraft inspired decor, black vine witch hats, mystic and witchy elements. I haven't seen that. Have you?
Oh yeah.
Have you?
A little
Yeah,
bit.
because even like not Hobby Lobby, of course, but Michael's and those places, they're starting to come out with more of the oddities and curiosities, witchy type black gothic look.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like,
So they'll have, bone or fake skulls in a jar or whatever.
oh yeah.
They're coming out.
Well,
with
and
a
you
lot
guys have real skulls in jars, real,
Real skulls.
petrified animals,
Yeah.
and which look really cool. A lot of bone art and jewelry, which is really fun. Like I said, I should find that antler and show you guys. Maybe I'll have Caitlin go check it out if she. AI generated spooky stories. Well, that's new. I haven't heard that. I mean, it makes sense. Do you guys use AI ever?
A little bit.
A little bit. ChatGPT now has where you can talk to it and have a really, honestly, decent conversation with it. A lot of times when I come up with ideas, I got this from another YouTuber, that when I'm coming up with ideas for the show or for my artwork or anything, he talks to ChatGPT and that gives you a written documentation of what you're thinking. So if I have an idea, because I have so many ideas and they just,
Gone.
there for a second, then gone, and then I'm like, what was I thinking about? So this has helped, like when I'm driving. A lot of times when I'm going to teach or something, I'll just put on ChatGPT and I'll start talking about ideas that I have.
Oh, right on.
And it's helped keep my thoughts a little bit better because I'm trying to make this into something fun and where I can be more creative with it. And I hope my editing has shown in the past few episodes, but we'll find out as time goes on, I suppose. So let's see here. We had planned to talk about aliens. I don't know tons and tons about aliens outside of that. Like I said, my love for the aliens or the imagery and all that is that, you feel like an alien, especially when you're from a smaller community or a community you don't quite fit into, which I'm not going to say I don't fit, but I'm not the normal North Dakotan, I wouldn't say. So, as neither are you guys.
No.
So,
Yeah.
but real aliens are cool too, and I'm pretty sure they're known to really exist now.
I agree.
They've all but said, right, with the government that
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we went on like how far it is, but have they said intelligent life has visited Earth yet?
Not yet.
No.
No.
Okay, but they said.
There's, with the spacecraft UFO things.
They've said there's a lot of UFOs or unidentified flying objects,
Yeah.
which not saying it's alien, but they have kind of implied.
Yeah.
And to me, like out of anything that we've talked about today, like it'd be arrogant of us to or say that we are the only intelligent life out there.
For sure.
I mean, with the universe being massive, which I don't think we've seen
I haven't
anything.
even seen close to it.
Yeah. And I mean, our space travel is, better than it was 70 years ago, but
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't really done much.
Which then ties back to the religious part of this stuff, of the Anunnaki, which is part of the Egyptian
Okay.
culture as well that we were just talking
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That, yeah, he would go and he would explore and he would talk about Egypt and they have no way that they could have built what they built.
Correct.
And they have no clue how it was built.
Which the Anunnaki they had a chapter in the Bible that they talked about them, but they took that chapter out of the Bible. But the Anunnaki is actually outer space, essentially aliens that came down and they created and helped the Egyptians do what they needed to do with the pyramids and whatnot. And
Okay.
They had an oasis. Basically, it was Adam and Eve story, where they had before everything was kind of converted to the Bible. But the Adam and Eve story, they had these two people. They were kind of growing them and manufacturing us as humans, and then they started having issues. So then it even in that part of the Anunnaki, it even talks about the Great Flood as well. But yeah, look up some Anunnaki stuff.
Is the Anunnaki? It's a tribe.
It's alien.
Oh, that's the. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was the alien.
That was the alien group.
Okay.
From there, and then if you look back on any of the heliographs back in Egypt, there's actually UFOs and even pictures of Jesus, like from the biblical times. There's pictures of UFOs there, and there's pictures of different alien types, and there's flying cars. And if you look at any of the heliographs that were part of that, there's actually part of it. And that's the Mayans. That's the, what's the other group? The Incas.
Incas, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's all tied in together. And they say that the Anunnaki actually had those guys build those different locations, and there's different pyramids too that we still haven't discovered. They had those guys build those different locations so they can pinpoint different areas around the world that doesn't.
Which
But
I guess,
do a
yeah.
little research on Anunnaki.
Well, yeah, I guess I didn't mention that, but yeah, that scientist that I was listening to on Rogan last week was, yeah, basically saying and the same thing, that they have no idea how these were built. Like it would have taken, I mean, it's possible they were man-made, but the amount of technology they had would have had to rival ours today, and if not even be better. So, which I guess
we can't even do half of the things that they did back then. We can't even do it now.
well, and with how people are still, I mean, wouldn't be uncommon that some big war happened and people were like, let's just throw all this stuff away. Like, what was it? Was it Rome when they burnt all the books?
Yeah.
Like, why? Seems ridiculous. Like, why would you change it? Like, or try to hide history? But even then, all the Viking stuff that I watch and have read into, like, depending what account you look at, you might have the Crusades or the Viking sagas. So, and both of them are different. Like, have you seen the show Vikings?
Yeah.
I liked it. It was my favorite, but there's another one called The Last Kingdom. Have you guys seen that one?
Parts of it.
Parts of it. That one is great for the history of stuff, but I find it really interesting when they get into the little areas with Ragnar's sons and the way they portray the sons on The Last Kingdom, which is made after the Crusades, and the way they portray them on Vikings, completely different. Like the most chill Viking son of Ragnar was the most brutal and like just
Opposite.
yep, the opposite of what he was, which I found really interesting. But it's perspective. That's how they saw him. Like the Vikings saw him as being just this chill guy who was like cool because I think he was like one of the leaders, but to his enemies he was a savage. Like he just brutalized them.
Yeah, it's funny you talking about all that, but I was watching a thing where this guy found a 1800s history book, and he was looking through the 1800s. There was a lady actually, and she's actually a professor in a different thing, but she was talking about rewriting a history book that actually tells all the people what actually happened. But the one from the 1890s actually says that the Vikings discovered America before Columbus did.
Yeah,
And it says it right in that history book.
Yep.
And there was another gentleman who was over here in America before Columbus supposedly did as well. So here we've all been taught all these years that Columbus was the first person to come here, and he actually, from what I believe, he didn't ever even step foot in America. It's more Central America area.
Probably. I haven't really looked in, but I think it's most known to be kind of a myth on Columbus, what we believe. But
yeah, just to tie it back in with
oh yeah.
things.
Well, and then even to go back further with my French heritage, like
Yeah.
the Vikings, pretty much at the time, the Vikings couldn't beat the king of France. And everyone respected him. I can't remember what his name. I think it was Charlemagne. And they respected him a lot. So instead of attacking, which I think they might have tried, but they would have got just wrecked, they pretty much married in, and they took over France that way, just like in The Last Kingdom, where they went over the way they pretty much took loopholes and then started taking all the land. And then The Last Kingdom was about Wessex, the last kingdom of England, and then how they built back out and formed England out of it. Great story. Really, really good TV show. But, shit, where was I? I get talking on stuff and I forget. But, Oh yeah, I started watching an anime called Vinland Saga, which goes about how the Vikings, because it started out in Iceland, which my people were always like, we don't like what you're doing, fuck you. So we're going to Iceland. Pretty much the same thing. Like the Vikings wanted to go to a different area, Leif Erikson, and it was the ones who didn't want a war, didn't want to do the battle anymore, and they just wanted to get away from all that conflict. And Leif Erikson said he found this really, really nice area, like just described it as like a beautiful, beautiful area, and that he called it Vinland. Well, it ended up being Canada. So he got people together to go to Vinland, and because it was so beautiful, so nice, just bountiful. Well, they came in winter. So you know what a winter's like here.
Yeah,
so yeah, they I think most of them died, and it was just horrible and harsh. But that was where the Vikings came to Canada, which would have been roughly, I believe, north of New York area. I think it was Ontario-ish area. But so yeah, and then it all kind of went there. So I wouldn't doubt if they came to, because that would have been in the 1000s. So why wouldn't they have, sailed down and came to America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because when did we come to America, Caitlin?
Christopher Columbus.
In what? 1500s, yeah. So I mean, yeah. So that would have been 500 years before.
Who was that?
The Vikings would have been, north. Like I don't think it would be too dumb of us to think that they just sailed a little south more.
Why wouldn't they to see what's
exactly.
to see what's there?
Yeah, I mean that seems on board with what they did. So
Yeah.
it would make complete sense. But and then there's stories about them getting into it with natives there in Canada. So,
Yeah.
but anyhow, Caitlin brought my this is my laser engraved.
All
Oh,
right.
I like
I was
it.
just testing it out and figuring out powers. It smells fucking awful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God, it reeked.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
turned out really cool.
I just took one of the torches and I burned.
Oh yeah, that
Oh, yeah.
was
That was disgusting.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
That is really cool.
Yeah, I figured I would see how detailed I could get, and it honestly got really detailed.
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
set up the turner a little bit more, but getting these warped areas is kind of rough. But
I like it.
yeah, I figured it would be fun to just tinker with, and I have more that I'll probably put up in at some point. But
I'd like to be able to do something in the lines of this.
that's my plan right there. It's if you can't see it, it's a engraved cow skull.
Yeah, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, you'll have to. There we go. There you go. It's on you.
Oh. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I'll put something up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I have a big cow skull in there, and I was planning to do it at some point, but I have too much shit going on. Like I take on too much. Yeah, that's I've seen that before, and I was wondering if my laser could.
Get that deep.
I bet it could. I mean, I am looking at getting a fiber laser, but those have a smaller bed. I have a CO2 right now, and I think I could. It'd just be. God, it smells so bad. So bad. Actually, and even looking at that, without I don't see any of the char marks. So it makes me think that they probably did that by hand.
Yeah, I don't think they did. Well, because these guys, this company that I went on, they sell thousands of these.
Oh, well,
So they gotta be doing.
I wonder if they do it first and then they bleach it and maybe have a technique to
They
sand it out.
Maybe water etch it.
Oh, yeah, there is water
Yeah.
cutters, plasma cutter. Well, no, plasma would be. I bet you're right. I bet it is water cutter.
Yeah.
So, well, I think with that, we've had a great show. Mel, you didn't get to alien stuff too much, did you?
That's all right.
We can.
No.
Okay.
You're good.
Fair. So, Twisted Minds. Why don't you tell everyone your hours?
So Twisted Minds Oddities, Curiosities, and more. We're located at 1519 East Broadway Avenue in Bismarck, North Dakota. Our hours will be Thursdays 2 to 7, Fridays 2 to 7, Saturdays 11 to 4, and Sundays noon to 4.
Cool. And
Check out our Facebook page.
Yep.
Twisted Minds Oddities, Curiosities, and more. And we always update hours on there if we change hours, and we always post all our new stuff we get.
Okay. And you said you just have a website that you're getting in the
we
works?
just started up the website. It'll be twistedmindsoddities.com.
Okay. And if people want to get hold of you to get maybe sell some haunted items, buy some haunted items.
Just message us on Facebook anytime.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe on your website you guys can put have your items and put haunted.
Yep.
And then maybe do some sort of auction style. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to eventually get into the auction stuff, doing side auctions as well as probably putting up cameras in our store just to kind of see if we can catch any type of activity in there.
Yeah.
As we go.
Yeah, it'd be really neat to see, keep us updated. I would like to see and hear. I mean, I go into your guys' store usually monthly.
Yeah.
And I would like to see what you guys have for the haunted items and hear the stories. And we'll have Sodi on too soon.
Oh, yeah.
So.
We're starting to get well known. So, and it's a good thing.
Is there any other oddity stores in North Dakota? Is there one in Fargo at all?
No. Well, there's Lunatique Boutique, but she's kind of sells a little bit of oddities, a little bit of boutique stuff.
Okay.
And then we just met a couple the other day, Friday. They came in and they got it's more of a metaphysical store.
Okay.
But they're going to start selling a few oddities in their place. But so far, we're the biggest. And
Yeah. Well.
the only one.
Yeah. And like I said, if you guys can get some of those haunted items, like I said, we'll need the internet for that one.
Oh, yeah.
So if anyone who's watching has anything haunted, has haunted stories, haunted items, get hold of us.
Yeah,
We'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And with that, I think I'm going to call it a night.
All right.
It
Good night,
is
Josh.
bedtime for me. Night, boys.
Good
and
night.
girls.
When the moon's high and shadows crawl, at Twisted Minds we've seen it all. Balls and oddities line the shelves. Get twisted with us and lose yourselves. Icebreaker, we're breaking new ground with Twisted Minds, the weird's all around. Skulls they grin and spirits rise. Let's get twisted with eerie surprise.